Well, hey, bitch. It's Jamie. That's me here. Welcome back to the channel. Listen, we were supposed to get into Kevin Surrat's interview with the Sherelle's World earlier this week, and we didn't, so we're getting into it now. Make sure you're coming in, supporting the video, liking up the video, and let's go ahead and get into some things. So, Kevin lets us know about he and Traci's, start of the relationship. I believe he said he met her in 92. They both worked for some medical spot or something. They start dating in 93. So that's how far back they go. Okay, they've known each other since 1992 and start dating since 1993. Okay, now he spoke on the wannabe comment because that was a comment, or at least the wannabe label, shall I say. That's a label that was given to Traci when they first started doing the Braxtons, and each sister would have a label under their name, and they gave Traci the wannabe label. And I don't even know where that came from or even why she had that wannabe label. Um, I think that would have bothered me too, child. Okay, what you mean? I want to be something that I already am. I'm a damn Braxton, girl. Like what? But anywho, that was something that bothered her, and she would often talk to her husband about that, and he was saying that from what it sounds like from the interview, it sounds like maybe some of the family members may have had a role as far as being a producer of some sort on the show. And if you are assisting with producing on the show, then why would you go on and allow somebody to label your sister as a wannabe? Like, why would you be so careless to think that she wouldn't mind being labeled as? So he was, mentioning that. So do you guys feel like that's the lie? Because often, we listen to Trina, and Trina says that he been out here lying. So it's like, okay, well then is that the lie, the wannabe comment? Where he's making it seem like it's y'all that put that narrative out there versus the actual production company, because just because the family may be producers on the show at that time in the earlier stages, I'm wondering how much power did they have? Did they not see some of the edits or the final products? So they probably didn't know that label was going to be out there. I don't know. But when you talk about lies, I'm just trying to understand exactly what the lies were that they're saying that he has been putting out there. Now, he did speak on Traci being pressured by the family, when they were about to sign a contract or whatnot, and her being pregnant. It sounds like he was saying that, like, the family kept asking, like, what are you going to do? So what you going to do? 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 And it sounds like he was saying that, how I took it, they were asking her what she was going to do with the pregnancy, as far as, like, are you keeping it or not? Okay. What you gonna do? Because you ain't gonna really be able to be in the group and stuff with this pregnancy. So what's really, like, what we gonna do? What's the decision? What you gonna do about this pregnancy type thing? Okay, so that's the vibe. That's what I was processing from what he was saying. Now, he went on and he was asked about why the sisters don't like him. Okay, he says that he believes it's because he doesn't have a lot of money. And he goes on to talk about the jobs he and Traci had. My question was, when you say that it's because you don't have a lot of money, did they not like you because they felt like you could not financially take care of her, being that you were older than her and you should have had it more together? Could that have been what it is, if you think that it's the money factor? So I wonder if it's that. But then in addition to that, my thing is, I would think that's not the issue, because they men didn't have money from what it seems like. I think Tamar man about the only one that really had it. Okay, and they probably was glad you ain't had no damn money, the way Tamar was around there running around throwing it in their face every chance she get. Ooh, I'm finna buy this bag. I'm finna purchase this. Oh, this $5,000. This 8,000. Girl, okay. Tamar was over there rubbing it in their damn face, slick. Okay, like, my man got a bag, baby. That's what it was giving. So I don't know. Are you sure? Was it because you didn't have money? All right. But if you don't know the answer, I feel like it's just say you don't know, like, I don't know, versus, oh, I think it's because I didn't have money or whatever. But if you do know the answer, then go ahead and just keep it a buck with us and tell us, oh, we had this riff and this is how it was handled, and ever since then they ain't like me. Okay. We like when people keep it a buck. Okay. So he was asked about everything being left to his son. Because he was bad with money. Like, people are saying that everything was left to your son because you were bad with money. He goes on to say, like, well, really, me and Traci was bad with money. So you sure that's what it was? Like, we both was bad with money, okay? But he also did not say that was the reason Traci left everything to the son. Okay, he did not say that that's the reason why she left everything, but he did say that they were both bad with money. Okay, so he don't think it had nothing to do with it. He does go on to speak on the estate of Traci and says that he believes that manipulation contributed to drafting of her will. He says that the will was drafted in December, a few months before she passed, and he also mentioned that she was at the highest of medication at that time, and he doesn't think that it was the best time for her to do that will. Okay. He says that he has, always been there with her. When he had to step away from work, that's when they decided to try and, conjure up whatever plan. But then I am left in slight confusion, because I'm like, you already knew, okay, from what you mentioned in 2022, that it was gonna go to the son anyway, because Traci knew the sisters wouldn't fight the son for it. Right. So then what in the will was really done inaccurately? Okay. Now, according to the attorney, this has always been Traci's will, for things to go how it went. And he also said he's even recorded Traci prior to. Okay. So there was audio of her prior to her getting sick. He has audio of her expressing what it is that she wanted. And being that she's a very vocal person, I feel like Kevin Sr. knew that. I do. I think that he knew that Traci wanted to leave everything to her son, but I think he didn't like how it was handled. In my opinion, okay. But if he didn't know, it is what it is at this point, okay. I just think that for me, and I've always said this, I think it makes sense to give it to the child. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the child. Like, the child should be inheriting something. So if he's inheriting her estate, it is what it is, okay. Um. So yeah. Let's see what else I have here. Oh, I wanted to say this. Yeah, I think she was gonna leave it to the son because that's her child. I don't think it had anything to do with money management. And who's to say Kevin Jr. is good with money management? I don't think that he was. So if it was bad, I'm not leaving it to my husband because he's bad with money. Well, shit, your son bad with money too. I said, I don't think that was the reason. I think that in my personal, I don't know if he is, but just seeing how he handled the situation with his court hearing, I would think that he can be a bit irresponsible, which is why she said when he's ready. Okay. Let's see. Kevin Sr. Kevin Sr. also said that, he's not contesting the will. Okay. Whatever it is, he supports whatever that is. He's not contesting the will. What question I wish Sherelle would have asked him is, did the sisters take you to court to contest the property that Traci left to you? Right. That's because that's been a rumor, but I haven't been able to confirm that to be accurate. So I'm not going to say that that's what they did, because I honestly don't know. But I wish that was a question that he could have, that would have been asked of him, so that he could clear that up about whether that happened or not. All right. So he goes on, and he speaks on learning about Traci's cancer, and him notifying the son the next day. He says that they were taping in California when she was experiencing some trouble with swallowing, and he says that she ended up getting a checkup, and then at some point it wasn't getting any better. She was rushed to the hospital, and when they went to the hospital, that's when they realized that she was, that's where they discovered the cancer. Okay. The very next day was when he notified his son. And he also mentioned that he told the family and everything, and Traci didn't want that, but he knew she needed the support, so he had to start telling people. Okay. He said they were all on Zoom. What was interesting about this part of the interview for me was he said that Tamar was there. So I said, are you sure? Because let Tamar tell it. She says that she didn't find out initially about Traci's cancer. She learned about it at a much later time and said that she found out by accident, and she kind of felt robbed, right, of having more time with her sister. So my question is, was she on the Zoom call? Was she paying attention? Was she in the room with everybody? Because that's not what she's saying. Okay? That's not what Miss Tamar is letting the people know. So he mentions a narrative that was put out there about him getting a Manny and Petty. As far as like, you supposed to be up here taking care of your wife and helping your wife, but you down there getting a Manny and Petty or whatever. And he says that his sisters gifted that to him for him to do something for himself. So he wasn't gone far. He was just right downstairs. It'll only take a few minutes to get him a Manny and Petty. And that is what he did. So it sounds like when it comes to him, they can be very, very critical of him. although he was there with his wife every step of the way, it seems like they're very critical of him than they are of their own spouses. And I think that could have been something that likely frustrated him because of the narrative that was being put out there. But when I hear him say this narrative about him getting a Manny and Petty, and then I'm also hearing, but then I would believe he's talking about the sisters, okay? But he just said they. He didn't say who, okay? But my assumption were the sisters. So I don't know if it was he took a picture of that, put it on social media, and people started to complain, or if it was the sisters that were there that were complaining or something. I'm not sure. He said they. They, yeah. My what else did I want to say? Yeah, so you mentioned the narrative that was put out there. So when you guys talk about these narratives, I'll be hearing it, okay? You got the sisters saying that there's narratives and lies, and then he mentions this narrative, and it's just like, where y'all be getting these narratives from? Where they be putting them at? Where they be putting them at so I can look through them? Because I'm like, huh? What's going on? But anywho, Kevin goes on to speak on his son doing his best dealing with his mom's cancer. He's like, listen, I've never lost my mom, and that's your mama, you know. And he hasn't been through a divorce, or at least that divorce, okay, with the wife, because he was married the first time. But he's like, I haven't experienced things the way that he is experiencing things at this time. So he's going through a lot, you know. He says that Kevin was asked how close were the sisters and aunts to Scratchy. He said about 20%. Before all of this, the show and all of that, they really wasn't around like that. I believe that, okay? People be upset, when his stories make sense. I'm sorry. If it doesn't make sense, I'm going to call it into question, right? Just like I said about they don't like me because I didn't make enough money. I don't think that's accurate. You may have done something, like, think about it. Why don't they like you? Or maybe you just really don't know. Okay. So if it doesn't make sense, I'm gonna call it a question. But this makes sense. Because if you were close to Scratchy, if his aunt was close to him, I think people would remember that she called him Scratchy. Right. But aside from that, even with her telling the car to call Scratchy, it's not giving that you are around him a lot like that for the car, or talk to him enough like that for the car to just pick up and recognize Scratchy or whatever. Like, it's something off about that. I don't believe that they were that close prior to. And I also feel like, and I've said this before, if you were that close, then you would have put your differences aside to be there to support him the day that they had the memorial for his mother, or the celebration, whatever you want to call it, the service. And y'all didn't. So I just, okay. What else? He was asked about his son, saying he was married into this family, and the son was born into the family. He says he really hates that his son put that on public display. He thinks that when it comes to the family dynamics, his son may believe that because the Braxtons have a bigger name and they're more widely known, he feels like he believes they're more powerful. So he may lean towards that side more. Okay. His dad says that he was trying to educate him. Okay, Kevin says he was trying to educate his son on how narratives and manipulation can happen on a show. That's why I told y'all I feel that's what the real issue is. I don't think it has nothing to do with no damn will in my personal. And I just don't. I don't. I don't think it got nothing to do with no will. But I just think it's how he's shown up with his dad, knowing that he's about to go and be a part of this show and stuff. But anywho, regardless, the dad says that they're still working on things and working through things, and their relationship has gotten better. Now, this is where I have to disagree with the dad, in my opinion, and y'all may support it, and that's your personal, okay? So the dad goes on and he speaks on Kevin Jr. going through a divorce and domestic issues. He says the wife didn't want to stay around due to his grieving. Okay, everybody can't handle that. How you may go about your process of grieving. Everybody's not rocking with that, okay? Yeah, so some people just can't handle it. So he says he speaks on Kevin having two cases, and he missed one and had a bench warrant, and someone called and said he was in the house and he was arrested, okay? This is why I believe the sisters were I believe they did, let me just say this. This is why people were blaming the wife, because they feel like he was in the house with the wife and the wife called, okay? Said he was there, but Kevin Senior did not say who. He just said someone called and said that he was in the house, okay? And therefore he was arrested, okay? Um Kevin Sr. says that he is getting counseling and he hopes that his son does the same. I do hope that the son continues the counseling. He needs all the counseling that he can possibly get. Okay, all of it. All right. Now, he goes on to let us know when the question was asked about Kevin Jr. having an alcohol and drug problem, like those have been the rumors. He said that he has been aware of the alcohol rumors, but not the drug rumors. Okay. He does go on to confirm that he is that he pretty much is, yeah, he be having alcohol. Okay. Um he did say that he is trying to teach him that he has to be in the best state to take care of his child. Okay. He does pretty much confirm at that time, kind of like indirectly. Then he went on to directly confirm that going through the situation that Kevin is going through. He's having a really rough time. Lost his mom like 2 years ago, losing his son. His wife lost the house. Like, it can put you in a depressional state, and some people may lean towards alcohol. Like he pretty much mentioned, like, when you're going through these things, you'll acquire some type of vices. We don't know what those vices are, but for him, it's giving, drinking is a vice for Kevin because he says he's working on his intake. So to us, that confirms that he has a drinking issue. I just kind of felt like a little bit, okay. He did let us know that the domestic issues and protective order was thrown out of court. Now, although I do appreciate the dad for confirming this information because we wouldn't find out any other way, I was kind of like, I don't know, maybe you should have just kept that part to yourself and told and just said, I'll let Kevin Jr. speak on that part. When it comes to whether these rumors about whether he's doing alcohol, drugs, or anything like that, or whatever he has going on, that is his personal. And I'll allow him in his timing to speak on that and any other domestic issues that he may want to discuss at that time. But I do appreciate the dad being open, letting us know, though. Thank you. But then at the same time, I was like, ooh. Thanks. So he confirms that he does not have an illegitimate child. I'm glad he talked about that because so many people have been ready to put that on him. All right. He says that he has a daughter from a previous relationship. We've already watched the video on that. She has a grandchild. That grandchild was hanging with him at Starbucks. Somebody saw them, took a picture, created a whole narrative. Okay. Well, really, how the narrative was created. He said that Towanda got in touch with Traci's management team. Okay. And this is where a little bit of I was like, So Towanda got in touch with Traci's management team, told them about what was going on, and they decided to come up with a illegitimate child narrative. Okay. They turned around, spun it into a bag, did marriage boot camp, got free counseling for the marriage and stuff. So Kevin Sr. feels like, well, hell, whatever y'all meant for bad for us, it really turned out to be good. So thank you. Okay, shrug shoulders. So then my question is this, and would this be considered one of the lies, that the sisters would say? Because for me, I'm like, it sounds like Towanda didn't come up with the narrative. It sounds like Traci's management team came up with this illegitimate child idea and turned it into a bag. Right? That's what it sounded like. But the response that he gave after the fact saying like, hey, whatever y'all did, it helped us. It made our relationship stronger. So, hey, thanks. Okay, like a sock it to you type moment. With that, it makes me think, well, damn, was Towanda involved with that? Because that's how it's coming off at this part. But it sounds like it was Traci's team. So which one is which? And maybe that could be where they feel like, oh, well, that's a lie. Okay. Now let's keep going. Kevin Sr. says he will respect his elders when it comes to his his in-laws. But the sisters, he says he didn't go along with a lot of stuff, which is why he also may think they didn't like him. But he doesn't have like a true reason. He just feel like, I ain't go along with every damn thing that they was trying to do. So they never came through for her is what he said. But she showed up for them. Okay. He also says she would come to him and complain. He would always hear her complaints and stuff about what the sisters are not doing or whatever the case is. And she just wanted somebody to show up for her. Okay. And yeah, I'm sure that didn't make him feel good either. Like, don't know, man, if you really care about your wife and you in this marriage, nobody wants to keep hearing about how y'all keep disappointing the person that they love. Like, that's messed up. Okay. What else? He says he still doesn't know to this day why they don't like him. He says it can't be because of infidelity, because they both had their share of infidelity. I've been told y'all that. He was asked about taped calls with the attorney. He says he wasn't aware of that at all. All right. He spoke on the memorial service. Okay. He said it was a Zoom. He said he had a Zoom call. Okay. And he was asked about if he had the money to take care of Traci's service. He said the publicist had already handled everything for Traci. So that was already figured out. But he wasn't going to let nobody know, because in that moment, his heart is hard. He's grieving. He's upset. He's like, why the hell y'all want to come to me asking me all these questions now? Y'all wasn't stunning me before unless you complaining about some shit. Now y'all want to come up here and y'all want to talk to me? Y'all wasn't trying to support me before, and now y'all want to ask about it? Okay, so that's how, that's the anger. That's the hurt of losing his wife. That's how he was feeling, and from how I'm seeing it. So he says he received a call from the attorney 15 minutes after his wife passed. He said he had been sitting there with her for like 2 hours after she passed, waiting for someone to come. And he got a call 15 minutes after she passed, and it may not have been 15 minutes in all honesty, but either way, shortly after she passed, he's saying that he got a phone call, and he's like, what's up? The attorney was like, well, I need to talk to you about some stuff regarding the will. And he felt away. He felt away because he's like, that SHI can wait just a little bit. We don't need to enforce that right now. Like, I just lost my wife. Now I have to process this. Now I got to talk to this person. I got to let my son know. I got to do this. I got to do that. I got a lot of shit going on in my head. Ain't nobody think about no motherfucking will right now. Okay. What else? He says that Traci did want a viewing. I mentioned that when I read the will. Okay. She did want a viewing because she said her husband and her son can choose what she wears, how her hair is, what she look like. They chose all of that. Okay. And I figured it would be private. And that's what he's saying. She wanted the private one. He said that the information was given to the sisters for the private one, and they didn't even show up to that. And that kind of was disappointing to hear, because it's like, that's messed up. If Traci feels like y'all didn't show up for her in life, then why would y'all not show up then? Like, that's disappointing. Okay. But maybe that's common. I don't know, because when it came to their niece's funeral, Tamar didn't show up to that. So I don't know. Maybe they had something going on internally that they just couldn't stand to see their sister in that state, and maybe that's why they didn't go. And then I'm wondering, could this be a lie? Is this one of the lies that y'all talking about when y'all say he lying? Are y'all what's the lie? Could it be that y'all didn't attend the private viewing because you didn't have the information? Or what? I'm just trying to figure out where the lies be coming in. So the sister, he said they didn't show up. He said the problem wasn't, no, or at least I'm saying, so the problem wasn't really the funeral, it was the memorial. They had it when when it came down to the granddad, well, her dad, getting into the memorial. He was able to get into the funeral, but I guess there was some issues with the memorial or whatever. But I still don't think that would be his fault. I think whoever was manning the door about had something to do with that. But that's also interesting if he's saying that this funeral home is very familiar with her family. There shouldn't have been no discrepancies or no issues with him getting in to his daughter's service. He says the celebration was a separate thing and they still did not show up. Okay. Didn't show up to the private viewing, did not show up to the service, the celebration for her in her honor. Not even to just be there to support her son. Forget the husband. Forget him. Don't worry about him. Do it out of the love for your sister and for her son who lost his mom. Like, I think that's messed up, because now y'all want to show up and be there all of a sudden after the fact when a camera is attached to it, and it just don't seem right. Okay. Now, he says he is open to talking with Toni because he feels like Toni seems to be the only one that's more basically level-headed when it comes to the situation. Because even on the show, Toni was like, y'all don't think that y'all need to talk to Traci's husband? Like, y'all don't think y'all need to have a conversation and include him on this or that? And I think it was Trina said that's a negative. So, yeah. Okay. Now, he admits and acknowledges that he and his son have been dealing with a lot. He said there's been a lot that's been going on with them. Okay. which is why I feel like y'all shouldn't have been getting into it in that video or whatever was happening. Okay, but that's a part of a lot he talking about, I'm sure. So he does say anyone that cares for Kevin shouldn't be trying to undermine his relationship with his own son, and I agree with that. Trying to slick turn him on his own, I don't like that's still his dad. So y'all can give the whole, or he can give this whole, oh, born here, married into this. At the end of the day, you still have your dad's blood flowing through your veins, and you do have the last name. Okay, so you are Kevin Surrat Jr., not Kevin Braxton. Even though I know that's your family, but it's like, damn. Okay, y'all trying to. I mean, because it don't seem like the dad that damn bad to you, but I don't know, girl. So, what else? He still wears his wedding rings. Okay, he lets us know that his wedding ring, his engagement rings, he still has all of that. He mentions Trina apologizing to Traci, so he will definitely give her credit for that. He spoke highly of Trina to me. So for Trina to take it to her episode that I showed you guys the other day and say that, he's been out here lying, and I guess we might need to, share that video or whatever the case was. For Trina to say that, I just feel like, damn, girl, that's messed up. Like, is this how you really feel, or are you adopting the feelings of someone else and making it so? I don't know. Okay, he was asked about the sisters being involved in other relationships as they did with theirs. And he says that he didn't think so. He didn't think that they were as involved in other relationships as they were, other people's relationships as they were with his. With he and Tracy's. I don't know. I mean, maybe they could have been involved a little bit more with Trina and Gabe, but I guess it wouldn't have mattered since Trina went back and married him anyway, child. When he was asked about the husbands, he did speak highly of Vaughn, though. I believe he said that he ended up seeing Vaughn in the airport or something like that, and Vaughn was nice, and I think he was cool around the time of Tracy's passing and stuff, or her being sick and stuff like that. But he says when it comes to Sean, he didn't know Sean a lot. He said he know a lot about Sean, is what he's saying. It says that he never came around when Tracy was sick, and also says Tracy never cared for him that much anyway. Okay. I believe that. We saw Tracy, show her disdain for him right out the gate. I already saw that. So I'm sure he wasn't around her because she probably just got a vibe or something about him that she really just wasn't feeling him. But for him to say he didn't really know a lot about him, I'm like, I guess maybe you didn't because your wife didn't like him, so you wasn't really around. But you definitely knew who the hell he was, okay? I mean, it seemed like he had been around for a cute little minute before she passed, but maybe y'all weren't like that because she didn't want to be around him, so y'all weren't around him. But anyway, child, I just wanted to come recap, give my thoughts about this interview. I thought this interview definitely confirmed a lot of stuff that I already said a long time ago when I first started getting into this show and the different things that was happening around it. So I thought it was a cool interview, and I feel like this is what he should have brought us when the video was dropped of him, getting into whatever confrontation, whatever, with his son. I feel like instead of coming to us with a chopped up, edited video, you should have just came to us as you have in the past and just cleared up the matter at hand. Okay, but I'm gonna let you guys leave your thoughts and comments down below. Let you guys continue the conversation on. That is all that I have for you guys at this time. I am Jami, that's me. So please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. Follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Jami, that's me. And I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
In my city and cul-de-sac, coming out swinging like soldier rags, leading my people like quarterback. Boy, I study this shit, I'm an almanac. Had to get up and grind, knowledge is booming, I'm here to apply. Came with the chip and the dip, it just single the mind. We finna do more than survive, I need my check. Spinning the block for the Gouda, we hitting the jeweler, the flood out the net. We don't do beef for computers, I'm straight out the sewer, we come when you rest. Niggas be looking perplexed, so keeping my foot on their neck. No map, I trust my gut for the quest. With drama, I'm fully abreast. I was ready for years and they doubted me. All of a sudden they tell me they proud of me. I've been dropping these haters like calories. Cross them out, I came back with some batteries. Stand for my honor, but too raw, no corner. Packing the stick with a drummer. When I catch my bad, won't fumble. I done came too far to be